The Moto3 race in COTA featured a horrendous-looking crash instigated by KTM protégé Deniz Oncu. While none of the three riders who went down behind him were seriously injured, Oncu ended up receiving a 2-race ban for weaving on the main straight. He is, however, not the first rider to ride like this, and it has become quite prevalent in Moto3 this year. A few of the MotoGP riders have now given their thoughts on this. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Moto World, does Deniz Oncu deserve 2-race ban? SRT Yamaha's Valentino Rossi began by pointing out how the situation is completely out of control, as quoted by Autosport. I don't want to say about Oncu or another rider, but for me the penalty is right. They have to do something. He has to stay at home for 2 races minimum. They have to do something serious because the situation is completely out of control for me. He explained how it was an unwarranted move. Oncu moved on the straight when he knew he had another rider on the side and caused a crash that potentially could be more than a crash. I was very scared for everybody, also because I have Minho there, and Acosta made a terrifying crash, and they are very lucky that nothing happened. He also suggested that some of the blame lay with the race control who restarted the race for just 5 laps. They make a mistake because they made Moto3 restart for 5 laps, and it's too dangerous. For 5 laps, it's like Russian roulette, when you put one bullet in the gun and spin the cylinder. Ducati's Jack Miller agreed that the move was avoidable, as quoted by Autosport. That wasn't unfortunate. That was blatant moving on the straight. Shit like that's been happening all year. Looking back at Barcelona this year, for example, that was one race where I had my heart in my mouth because of those kinds of moves on the straight. He further pointed out how it was fortunate that the incident took place in COTA, where the walls aren't near the track on the main straight like it is on most tracks. I think the biggest thing is we're lucky that it happened here in Texas, where you can land a Boeing 747 on the straight, it's that wide, so there was plenty of room for other guys to go, but if it happened at Jerez, I don't think the results would have been good. Avintia's Enea Bastianini, meanwhile, feels that the move deserved a stronger penalty, as quoted by GP1. If I had been the one to decide, I would have suspended him for the entire championship. Unfortunately, that's Oncu's style. He rides over the top in every race. They need to be careful. These are maneuvers to be avoided, especially considering what happened this year. Fast feed. Yamaha's Franco Morbidelli has explained that at the beginning of the race in Texas, he was still able to. He wanted to push a little and make some more kilometers to learn and adapt more to the bike. We got some interesting information that we can analyze, and we can do something with it for Misano. The next Grand Prix weekend is in 3 weeks, so I will have some more time to heal and prepare for that race. This is positive, and overall it was a positive weekend. We understand better which direction to take, he suggested. MotoGP has confirmed a provisional calendar for next year featuring a record 21 race schedule. The season is scheduled to begin with Qatar Grand Prix on the 6th of March, followed by a race in Indonesia 2 weeks later, and will conclude on November 6th with a race in Valencia. Finland, Australia, Japan and Malaysia are also featured, but all 21 races are subject to the evolution of the pandemic and the approval of corresponding governments and authorities. LCR Honda's Takaki Nakagami has revealed that after the start of the race in Texas, he felt quite good and he was ready to attack. In turn 12, I was just faster than normal. But the problem was when I hit the bumps at the apex, which is maximum lean angle. Unfortunately, I lost the front. That's it. I mean, it was, maybe I have to say, a stupid mistake, and the cost of that small mistake was massive. I think it was easy to get the podium, so it's a shame I lost another opportunity. Honda's Marc Marquez doesn't know where it is exactly with regards to the fitness of his right arm, but in some movements it's far from the left arm. It's true that every time, step by step, I'm able to keep my position more on the brake point, but from the brake point to going into the corner, I still don't feel comfortable, like I always did, and I can't slide the bike and turn, he elaborated. That was one of my strong points, but now I go in like the others. I go in, but not well. It's still far, and I still have some limitations there, but I'm able to ride the bike, he summed up. For Suzuki's Alex Rins, the Grand Prix of the Americas was a very difficult race because exiting from the corners they were losing a lot of time. I don't know if it was because of the rear traction, the aerodynamic package, or what, he added. I couldn't fight. I couldn't hold an overtake. I was trying to survive because of the traction issues and the bumps, he summed up. Does Deniz Oncu deserve the 2-race ban? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of MotoGP.